Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for October 8th. We're looking at the US Japanese yen pair. If we're looking for this particular pair to move between 102.04 and on the lower side 98.24. Now, as you can see, the market did thrust lower today. It did move lower. The bias is to the downside. It's moving down. Look for some resistance a little bit lower at 120. As far as support, look for some support around the same area as our range. Now, switching over to the Euro USD pair, this particular pair, here we go. Okay, this particular pair, we're looking for it to be somewhere between 137.91 on the high side, and on the low side 134.94. Look for some resistance to come into the market at around 137.54 area. This pair is moving sideways for the most part. Bias is definitely to the downside still, but we'll have to see where it goes. Looking at the pound, this particular pair is moving lower. The bias is to the downside. I'm looking for this session to move between 174.50 on the high side, on the low side 171.50. So keep an eye out for that. Pretty much looking for support and resistance at those same levels. Let's take a look at the US Swiss pair. This pair moved lower during today's session. The bias is to the downside. It's moving, well, it's moving sideways at the moment. The bias, I'm not sure exactly where. I mean, we have a nice little range that it could be the start of a new range here. Now, looking for what we're looking for this next session, look for 1.1482 on the high side, and on the lower side look for 111.77. Now look for some resistance to come in a little bit higher at 113.50 and support to come in at around 112.10. Now, looking at what we recommended, looking at the Euro Japanese yen pair, what we had said that we were looking for was a break below this low, and that if we got a break below that at if we got a break below here at 134.97, there we go, 134.97, that we should move on down pretty quick. And we did move down to our first target, and that produced a profit of 69 pips if you exited on the first go around. Now, it did pull back prior to the close, and it looks like it's up a little bit today, or the beginning of this new session. I do anticipate it moving lower. So it did hit our first target, but hasn't moved down a really large move like this day or this day, kind of as we anticipated. But it's something definitely to keep in, keep on your radar, so to speak. Now, looking at the US Swiss, we do have, if we get a break below this point at 1.1197, look for it to go down. Look for the first target at 111.44, and then a second target at 110.90. Not sure if it'll do that, but that's kind of what we're looking for this next session. As far as news announcements, I'm sure all of y'all are aware that the US Fed dropped rates to 1.5% from 2%. Also, the Eurozone GDP came in as expected at negative 0.2% for the month, and year to date at 1.4%. Now, the pound has a trade balance for August. That's being released at 4:30 a.m. Eastern Time. The consensus is that it will be down from, or up rather, from negative 45.85 pounds to negative 44.50 pounds. And the Japanese also have their monetary policy minutes for their September meeting being released at 7:50 p.m. tomorrow, but there's no consensus on this particular announcement. It's definitely something worth noting, since the U.S. Japanese yen is just kind of in a downward dive, that you may want to check that particular news announcement out. Well, until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.